Do you ever feel like you're living two lives? One minute, my head's in my 9 to 5, next minute, my head's coming up with content ideas. One second, I'm marrying the developer, and next second, I'm Paolo, the content creator. It's crazy when we try to balance the two lives that we may have, especially when you have to. As creatives, a world where we don't need currency in order to create is ideal. Unfortunately, in this world, we have to. And it gets even crazier is when you love living both lives, so you can never really choose one. And that's where I'm at. I love coding and I love my job. At the same time, I love embracing my creative side and coming up with more content. So I'm always getting asked the question, how do you balance it all? And like, is it really 50-50?
And now I think the best way to show and explain how I balance my 9 to 5 and content creating is by taking you through my day-to-day life. So basically for my day job, I'm a developer and I work from home, so I have the benefit of not needing to wake up early to kind of catch the early train. So I pretty much just waste my morning on TikTok. Now, I wasn't always a morning coffee person, but ever since lockdown, I've kind of learned to love it. Though not to the extent of some creators like Peter McKinnon, so I'm all good with these sachet coffees, which, mind you, this Copico one is amazing.
I always thought I'd never be a coffee drinker, and I said I'd never be one because I didn't want to rely on it, but ever since working from home, like, I haven't relied on it, but I've been a huge coffee fan. Not into it enough to kind of like make my own coffee, like with a grinder and a machine and everything, but hey, maybe soon, because that's always gonna be great content. Oh, and I've got like the stand-up meeting in like 30 seconds. Oh, now, so catch you guys in a bit.
After some light coding when I start my day normally officially begins once we have our morning stand-ups. A stand-up is basically a morning meeting with the team and to basically catch up what you did the previous day and what you're going to do today and kind of air out any issues that you're having and need help on. Today, I also had another meeting which kind of ended at lunchtime, so that was my morning.
Alright, cool. So it's now lunchtime, and yeah, typically my mornings are just meetings and starting on tickets that I'm working on throughout the day. And out for lunch, I normally use this time to go to the gym or just take a break, pop on the PS5, play some Apex. But yeah, so right now with the content creating, I kind of no longer have that kind of like chill lunch break, so I use lunchtime to kind of do some life admin on the content creating side, trying to figure out what I'm going to be shooting and just responding to emails and brand deals. But today's lunchtime, I'm going to shoot an intro video that was on this video that you would have seen. Well, you should have seen it if you didn't skip all the way. But yeah, it's my only time to kind of really shoot today. Typically, I shoot stuff after work, but with winter, it getting darker, and today I'm gonna go to Shift's talk on content creating, so I don't really have time to shoot after work. So I'm gonna use lunchtime to shoot that, plus daylight's better. But yeah, not really a lunch break if I'm working on other things, but I only kind of like have an hour, kind of flexible, so sometimes I push it like 1.5. Don't tell my manager, but I make that up anyway because I normally work till like 6:30. But yeah, it's a crazy time. My mind's always on work, both 9 to 5 work and content creating work. So let's shoot this. So I brought this fog machine recently, and it's probably one of the best investments I've made. I'm still trying to figure out how to use it effectively to make great content, but yeah, it's mine, so I ain't got to really give it back or anything. So I'm hoping that's one of the things that I improve on this journey, because I want to get those shots like GXNXSIS. He's amazing at that. I also have a projector, so I'm gonna definitely recreate that projector shot one time, but stay tuned. More. I need more. Mine 50. Yep. Cool. Right, cool, that's the content done. I've got another like 30 minutes of lunch. Luckily, it was a quick, easy scene, but I have food at home, but forgive me, Mum, I'm gonna go out and get some food to eat before I get back to work. So I still live at home, so typically there are leftovers, but today I wasn't really feeling it, so I went outside and headed over to the supermarket to kind of get something to eat. But then I realized I didn't really have time left to cook anything serious, so I just got a bowl of olives and ended up having some of the leftovers. Alright, cool. So now I'm back from lunch and finished with my content creator life, let's say. I'm honestly just back to work. Yeah, I'm not glad to, I'm probably still thinking about content and the fact that I'm filming content while I'm supposed to be working right now. that's kind of like the whole mishmash of like these two aspects of my life. But I've got a couple more meetings, and I basically just got to get these tickets done because we have deadlines. And it's probably boring to you guys on what I actually do, but in short, I'm a developer. I develop in React, TypeScript, Next.js. I'm building the e-com system for my company. Yeah, like ticketing systems, CMSs, websites, all that jazz. Yeah, it's pretty much just coding until 5:30. Sometimes I finish a little later, sometimes it's maybe a little earlier. But we are going to finish a little bit earlier today just because we're going to be going to Shift, my management agency's panel talk called The Fine Print, which is about, it's basically helping creators manage contracts, and it's basically about navigating contracts for creators, which I find really valuable, which is something that's helped me ever since signing. Was like, now that I kind of know the ins and outs of like brand contracts, it's made life much easier, and especially when the team is helping me with that. Yeah, that's definitely helps me so much more and allowed me to kind of focus a bit more on work during the day. My head definitely does get scrambled. Sometimes I'm at work thinking about content, and sometimes I'm doing extra hours of work and eating into my content creating time. And yeah, but I guess what kind of makes it easier for me is that I'm working from home, so I'm saving time from traveling to the office every day. I've got time to make it up at lunch and everything, and sometimes I can even low-key make up hours after hours work-wise if I feel like my mind just wasn't at work the whole day. Which I do find myself sometimes I'm kind of working till like 6:30 or 7, which is kind of the bad thing about working from home. Like, it's hard to kind of draw that line where you kind of like are out of office, but it's so hard when your laptop's just there and you're kind of like itching on trying to solve this idea at work. But yeah, definitely working at home makes kind of balancing the two easier, and I do wonder how I'd be able to cope if we were back in the office every day. But hopefully that's something that we don't ever have to see. Alright, so that's it for the work day. As you can see, it wasn't that hectic today. The fact I'm actually finishing at 5:30, plus I got to go to the Shift event, the Fine Print, which is a talk. And yeah, and I realized one of the ways that I'm able to kind of like balance this whole thing is I've committed to just focusing on work during work hours, you know, like it's 8.5 hours of the day. It is easier said than done, but for the majority of that 8.5 hours, I am trying to focus on work. Because when you think about it, I've got another 16 hours left of the day to think about content. And I rarely sleep these days, so I have a lot of time to think about content. So far it's working. The content side isn't needing any of those 8.5 hours at work. I can see where it's starting to, because there are kind of like some shoots or some brand deals which kind of would prefer morning shoots for the weekday, but luckily we do get to kind of push that back either after work or to the weekend, so it's manageable right now. But yeah, that's one of the main factors how I'm able to balance it at this current time. I guess we'll see where we're at in a couple months or a year.
What I do find hard to balance though is trying to get motives after work, since finishing at 5:30 to get to motives by 6 is tough. But I just about made it. And this is Sydney, one of the organisers from the Shift team. The stage was looking good, and luckily I made it on time, and I was actually one of the early ones because there was a big turnout.
Alright, so I finally made it to the Fine Print, all the way in King's Cross. Dude, it was a trek because I thought I was running late, so I legged it, like proper Filipino time. But luckily, it's kind of around like 6:30, so good thing there was a cushion. But yeah, it's a great turnout. I've seen so much people online that were here, so like huge fans of them, so I'm gonna say hi after. But yeah, can't wait for the talk. Shift team, congrats on the first edition of Fine Print. It's looking good, and yeah.
I don't know if you can tell, but my social anxiety was kicking off there since it's the first time I'm vlogging in public. But it was a great talk and turned out amazing. And they just provided really great insight into the industry. I even got to catch up with friends like Dijon, Keith, and Adela. Also, shout out to Nick for dropping us off because I live in Ends, and it's actually now 11:15, so I'm recording this voiceover. So without him, this wouldn't be possible. Thank you.
Right, cool. So I've just made it back. It's now almost 11. So I'm just gonna make it back in time to edit this vlog. But yeah, it was a successful talk from the shift team. So shout out to Sydney and Marley for kind of figuring all that out, and obviously everyone who talks and everyone that I met today, which was like really awesome. But yeah, I've made it just back in time, just before 11, to hopefully edit and upload this and process it 4K. Shout out to Nick for dropping us off in his car. So that came in clutch, because otherwise I would have got home around 11:30 and I totally would have missed the deadline. But yeah, let me change my daily affirmation, because we all need it. This is the mindful affirmations from the Intelligent Change team. And now, so this is today's quote. And this says, the more I focus my mind on the good in my life, the more good comes into my life. So pretty much manifestation. So I'm gonna put this on my desk, and that is what I'm gonna affirm today until tomorrow. Crazy. Second day into the challenge and I'm already being challenged by my time. So let's go, guys.